Okay, we're back. Part 2. So we're using our animal archetypes to help figure out how we can get past this blockage of social conditioning. King of Acorns. Look at that stallion. That's awesome. Eight of Acorns in reverse. I think Acorns is Wands. So it's like the King of Wands over the Eight of Wands in reverse, which would be, you know, lots of passion, lots of charisma, but not a lot of action. Internal, what I see is internal energy, but not external energy. The wheel, upright. It's kind of like you're allowing divine timing to play out and you're just building your reservoir. Sorry, it's something on my face. You're building your reservoir and just letting the wheel turn and just trying to like heal your feminine wounds, your mother wounds. King of Crystals upright, courage, commitment. And Four of Acorns in reverse, comfort and community. So comfort and community in reverse, that's very much feeling uncomfortable, feeling alone, but sovereign. You know, this is somebody who is okay being on their own, or at least learning, feeling the strength that they have within. And I think it's that feeling of being like, you know, that quote, what is it? Walk as if there are three men walking with you, something like that. It sort of gives me this vibe of like, you don't have to imagine an entourage to make yourself feel better about yourself, to make yourself feel strong. You feel like that entourage exists within. You don't need people, because part of having an entourage is also like being aware that people are watching you. And part of being sovereign is only you kind of observing yourself and whether or not your actions are in alignment with your higher self. And so it's just your internal self that is monitoring, not this feeling of external monitoring, if that makes sense. So it's like you're not participating in a lot of like group activity, like you've kind of broken free from this like group think and you're alone, but you're not lonely, right? You're independent. I see a lot of independence here. Nine of Feathers reversed. Perspective, self-empowerment. That's like Nine of Swords. Because upright, it's got this porcupine. So that's somebody kind of feeling like defensive, self-contained. in reverse, I feel like it's that concept of, healing your mother wound, is the ability to allow yourself to be gentle, allow yourself to be tender with yourself, be vulnerable, be truthful. Four of Shells in reverse. With a feeling of movement there. So it's kind of like what we were talking about before, where there's this, like we start off with the King of Acorns. So this is like a lot of power, but a power that is stationary. So that would indicate that it's internal. And this kind of confirms that concept where this is something that is spiky on the outside, keeping things away externally. But there's movement on the inside. There's internal change. You can't see it though. There's internal change going on. There's growth. So, I don't see a lot of blockage here, honestly. I feel like it's more just kind of waiting. It's allowing that anticipation to build towards whatever this is culminating to. And using that time. What this reminds me of? This reminds me of training montage time. In Rocky, in The Karate Kid, in any sports movie ever, where it's all of a sudden, the chips are down and the situation is grim. And then all of a sudden, something happens and the team coalesces or something ignites from within, which is what this is. This is an igniting from within. And then you've got all these montage moments of working out and, locking in and becoming your very best self. The training montage, this has training montage all over it. I love that for you. Training montage is hard though. That's a hard season to be in because you're not fast forwarding through it, but to the outside world, it's going to look like that. So the outside world is going to look like you're fast forwarding through a transformation, but on the inside, it feels like every hour of every day. You feel it. You feel it every hour of every day. Every day, when I was going through training montage time, every day just felt so long. I was just how am I having so many experiences in 24 hours? Again and again and again. Yeah, the hangman. Exactly. Praying mantis. You're seeing things differently. You are in contemplation. You are connected to the divine. You understand your purpose. And you are working towards it. And you are sacrificing what needs to be sacrificed. The Five of Crystals in reverse, exactly. Coming out of destitution, coming out of a lack mindset, and looking towards the horizon. Little lucky ladybug. Ten of Feathers in reverse. Recovery, transformation. Yeah, that's that Ten of Wands, or Ten of Swords, excuse me, in reverse. Coming out of an extremely painful time. Extraordinarily painful. But you are it's over now. It's over. And now you are training montaging it. You know, like that's what, you know, like in Rocky or whatever, like that's usually when training montage happens, is when they've taken like a serious defeat and they realize that like they're not as good as they need to be in order to be their very best, that they can either give up or they can lock in. And the best stories, they don't give up, and neither are you. That's pretty awesome. I want to pull a different card, and let's just go. I'll do one archetype and one light workers. I'm going to start light workers first. So archetypes, I feel like they've been extra chatty lately. And there's been like too many cards that pop out because they want to talk too much. And the light cards, light worker cards, those know that I'm only going to pull one. So they're not so. Because I feel like you have something's coming. You're locked into something. You had 2 king energies out. That's very action oriented, but all of that action was like just bottled up in here. But I think it's bottled up in kind of a good way. I think you're coiling for action, which is exciting. All right, let's see. I have to go through slow. I have like one ancestor that it's the only one like ballsy enough to actually talk to me. And she is crotchety. So if I go through those cards too fast, she gets really mad at me. All right. Deep replenishment and Mintaken. I'm going to read this one to you, but deep replenishment, I feel like that's what's going on right now, is just like a lot of trying to like take care of yourself, grounding, doing things that nurture you, you know, taking long walks or bike rides, going outside, getting lots of fresh air, you know, nice, pleasant, like chit chat conversations with the local shop owners and that kind of stuff. Those things that just kind of give you a sense of community, give you a sense of connectedness, you know, enjoying a coffee by yourself on the terrace, whatever it is. Those things that allow you to know, doing the things, but also noticing the things that make life worth living, that make your life enjoyable right now. Like you just went through a really dark time, and it's appropriate for you to be like, you know, yeah, like this is all right. It's gonna be okay. I think that's important. But this one I just want to read to you real fast. Mintaken. Mintaken. I don't know how to say it. Okay. Mintakens are a soul group who originated on a planet in the constellation Orion. They were the first star beings to travel to Earth and believed to be the original light workers. The Mintakens' home planet is thought to have been been a water world with water so pure that you could see through it for miles. For this reason, Mintakens feel most at peace and at home when they are around crystal clear water. They are here to teach us to see the potential in everything and the light in all beings. Many Mintakens have an odd longing for home and struggle with feelings like they don't belong. It is thought that it is due to their home planet no longer being in existence. If you pulled this card, it could mean that you are a Mintaken or are longing for a sense of belonging, and root chakra healing is necessary for you to feel secure and safe. Perhaps you feel this longing to find home without knowing where that is. Perhaps you've been moving around a lot and yearn for a place on Earth to call your own. If so, you're being called to connect with Mother Earth and create it for yourself now, to choose where you feel most at home and create it, rather than waiting for the feeling of belonging to come. So the idea with this is twofold. As you're going through your training montage, there's a call here to allow yourself to root just a little bit. You know, like I get a sense that like there's action happening, there's a future that's unfolding in front of you. But like I was saying earlier, where it's like you walk around, you know, like go around and like make pleasant chit chat with shop owners. It's that type of stuff that creates a sense of community, even if you're not, you know, besties or anything like that. It's still, when you walk into a business and they know your name or they know your order, that feels really amazing. You know, like I used to love going into a coffee shop in Seattle, and it was my favorite coffee shop, Cafe Fiora. And my barista would see me and he would just be like, and I'd be like, and then he'd get me my drink, you know, like, love that. Love that. I've never had it since, but it's a really great feeling. And so if you can cultivate it, even if you're only living in a place for a couple of years, doing something like that, making an effort to kind of let yourself be known in a community, let yourself be a regular somewhere, it's a nice feeling. And it creates a sense of home, a sense of belonging, a sense of people looking out for you. Because I get the sense that you're kind of alone in this, you know, like those cards were indicating that you're flying solo right now. So you can still weave yourself into the community around you, and it will help give you that sense of ease, the sense that like if you didn't show up tomorrow someone would notice, that kind of thing. But also this idea of like grounding and finding that sense of home and peace within yourself, so that no matter where you are, you feel at home, you know, because part of like that concept of having a entourage at your back is the feeling like you've got people who have your back. And so as you ground and center yourself and fortify the strength that you have within, you become your own arsenal. You become your own entourage in that way. You don't need somebody to stick up for you because you stick up for you, you know? And that can play into those insecurities as well. And maybe it's an insecurity around something, like you feel like you don't know enough of something. And maybe you can work more diligently during this montage time on that thing. Like maybe you're in a different country and you don't know the language all that well. Like lock into learning the language and getting really, really good at it so you feel really, really comfortable with it, so that you don't think back later and you're like, I used the wrong word there, or whatever it is. You know, whatever it is that allows you to feel confident. If there's a skill there that needs to be built, now's the time. So one archetype card, and then we're going to call it good, because I feel like we got the idea. The ring and the castle. There's that ring again. You know, it's the offering something to somebody. Let me pull it up and read a bit of it to you. And the castle. Start with the castle first. How about, because that one comes first in the deck. I'm going to pause while I find them. Okay. The castle says, it's no wonder fairy tales tell of sleeping princesses within castle walls. Like most archetypes, the castle is loaded with duality. It represents abundant riches, seductive fantasy, ornate wonders, and lavish adornments. Yet the walls are thick, cold, and shadowy. This card points to a tendency to hold on to possessions, quite possibly a literal home, or position that protects the image of achievement while the soul longs to run barefoot in the forest, leaving it all behind. At times we must settle down, yet the castle lulls us with its spell of materialism, and we fall asleep to our deepest dreams. The castle can be a motivating force, an enchanting goal to travel towards, but it is best not to linger within its walls of decadent deception for too long. Notice how castles are designed to keep things out. They defend, they separate. It is likely there is connection and community beyond its walls that will revitalize you. This ties in really nicely with the last few cards that we've been talking about. This sense of home, this sense of disconnection, and being all by yourself. It's there. You have just built a bit of a castle around yourself, and you've put yourself in like an ivory tower where maybe you don't hang out with people of a certain demographic, or you only hang out with people who wear certain brands or project a certain image, or whatever it is. And that's what I mean, like with the shop owners or whatever it is. Like, that's such an easy kind of step in to just bringing yourself down to earth, making yourself more accessible to people, allowing yourself to be seen as a human that sometimes has good hair days, sometimes doesn't, sometimes is red in the face because they were just finished running, and sometimes they sit and they talk for a while. It's what makes, I love that stuff. Okay, the next one I'm going to read is the ring. Okay, the ring is an image of connectedness. Rather than viewing life as linear, as a series of progressive achievements, the ring challenges us to see the cyclical, infinite nature of our world and experiences. Beginnings and endings fall by the wayside as we practice seeing ourselves as part of the cosmic circulatory of creation. Circularity of creation. For this reason, it is no surprise a ring is worn on the finger to represent eternal love that surpasses space, time, and worldly things. So much can be projected onto this archetypal image because it mimics the Earth's orbit around the great sun and the intimate bond between two lovers. It is the micro and macro united. This card calls us to deepen connection with self, other, and the world at large. Meanwhile, there may be a literal ring waiting to adorn your finger. Take stock of the jewels you adorn yourself with. Watch out for rings you wear out of habit that keep you connected to the old you. It's interesting. But more than anything, I just see that. I mean, like, those first few cards that was like Twin Flame and Attraction. And I was like, I feel like you're getting married, and then like the separation card came out, but with the big ring on it, and then this one. So that's 3 times that we've kind of had this like ring feeling approaching us. So I think something about this is significant, whether you're getting ready to propose to somebody in October-ish, autumn time, or if there's something that's going on that just has to do with that. Sorry, screening a call. But I do think that these 2 cards coming out together is important in the sense that, like, something about making yourself accessible, bringing yourself out of your ivory tower is important to this process. Sorry, the kids are loose. I just think that we also had those other cards that talked about taking care of yourself. And I think part of taking care of yourself is doing it out of this castle. Like jogging, for example. A lot of people jog on the treadmill. Stop. Go outside. Jog outside. Let people see you. Let yourself be a local. You know, even if you feel like you don't fit in, sorry, they're loud. Even if you feel like you don't fit in, or that you feel like you're somehow a freak of nature, or whatever it is, like whether you're popular or whether you're attractive or you've got crazy hair, or whatever it is, but like be out, because the interconnectedness of things is important, and you need to be connected. You need to have experiences, especially if you are thinking of proposing to somebody in a few months. Then like allow yourself to work through some of those wounds that you're trying to work through that are creating that blockage. You have to do that through creating connections with other people. It helps when they support you. Also, like, strangers are wonderful for telling random facts to. You know, like that you're super excited about something and they have no context for it because they're just bagging your groceries or whatever. But it's nice because you get to say something and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you, you know, or whatever it is. Like, they don't know, they don't really care. They'll probably forget later, but maybe not, you know, like, but it's nice. Like you treating workers, especially like customer service or retail workers, treating them as much like a human as possible, not only makes you feel good, but it makes them feel good. And for some reason, I feel like I needed to say that. And as I feel like you're alone, you need a sense of community, you don't know how to get it, and the cards are coming out that you're kind of in an ivory tower of materialism. And I think maybe rather than putting too much pressure on yourself to make like lifelong friends, maybe just make the 5-minute friends, you know, the ones that you just say hello to and they know your name and how to make a good cup of coffee. Anyway, I love you. Good luck.